Today, Sayadaw is going to talk about Samadhi Sambojjhanga, the concentration as the enlightenment factor. So here, Samadhi concentration means the mind, noted mind, is fully focused on the object, noted object. So the mind is stable and focus on the object. At that moment, there arises the concentration called Samadhi in Pali. As a Vipassana yogi, the Samadhi we initially developed is the Khanika Samadhi, momentary concentration. The concentration we develop moment by moment, by observing one object after another continuously. For example, we observe horizon, and then our mind is focused on the horizon abdomen, and the mind and the objects go together concurrently. At that moment, there arises the momentary concentration. And in the same way with the falling, when the abdomen falls down, we can observe it concurrently. Then there is mind focus on the object. That's that momentary concentration arises. And that is called Khanika Samadhi in Pali. Similarly, during the walking practice, we lifting, moving forward, dropping. And then we note the moving foot continuously and concurrently. The moment we observe it concurrently, there arises the concentration, momentary concentration. The concentration lasts moment by moment. So in the same way, we develop the concentration when we observe the unpleasant sensation and our mind focus on the unpleasant sensation like the stiffness, ache or numbness and so on. And then we observe the mind or thoughts, wandering mind or planning and so on. So if we are able to observe the mind or thoughts or wandering mind concurrently, and the mind is focused on the object, and there arises concentration, momentary concentration. So in this way, we develop the momentary concentration by observing one object after another continuously, concurrently, and moment by moment. Then the concentration becomes mature and mature. And then come close to the Megaphala enlightenment. And that is called the mature concentration we call Upachara Samadhi. That kind of mature concentration is called access concentration or neighborhood concentration. It is a neighborhood to the Megaphala enlightenment. So we call Upachara Samadhi. So for example, when we come to the meditation hall, we are closer to the meditation hall. And that area is called the Upachara in Pali, the neighborhood area. So in the same way, when our concentration mature, come closer to the Megaphala enlightenment, then that kind of concentration is called neighborhood concentration, Upachara Samadhi. And then Appana Samadhi, this is the Megaphala enlightenment. Megaphala enlightenment is the spiritual accomplishment called Appana. So when we get into the meditation hall, we reach our kind of destination. So in the same way, when we develop concentration gradually starting from momentary concentration, moment by moment concentration, and a mature concentration. We come close to the Megaphala enlightenment, and then we develop the Megaphala enlightenment. In this way, there are 3 stages of the concentration, 3 levels of concentration. The moment by moment concentration, neighborhood concentration, and accomplishing concentration, Appana Samadhi. So characteristics of the concentration is Avikipa Lakkhana. That means the not wandering around. The mind is focused or established on the meditative object, not separate out. That's the characteristics of the concentration, stability of mind. And the mind is stable on the object. So whatever we do, whatever we think about, we are mindful, and the mind is stable on the object, whether we are going, standing, sitting, or lying down. In whatever physical position we are in, the mind is focused on the object. That is the characteristics of the concentration. And its function is to unify its concomitant mental consciousness and mental factor. So mind and mental factors are unified by concentration. That is the function of it. And Pajupatthana is a manifestation. It is manifested to a yogi as calmness or tranquility. So here, in this regard, Mahasi Sayadaw composed a poem. Sayadaw recited in Burmese in this sense. So in the Pali text, the Buddha says, Sandawa Ajadam Samadhi Sambhojango Ati means Samadhi Sambhojango, and so on. So the meaning is if we have developed Samadhi concentration as a enlightenment factor, we should be aware we have developed it. If we have not yet developed this kind of concentration, we should be aware that we have not yet developed. And then what we are going to do if we haven't not yet developed, and the Buddha said the resolution. We have to make a resolution to develop the concentration, samadhi. So the development of concentration requires the firm resolution. And then on top of that, there are 11 supportive conditions mentioned in the commentaries for us to develop the unarisen concentration and to arise. So altogether there are 12 things we can do to develop concentration. So the Buddha said concentration will be perfected when we are fully enlightened. So according to the Pali text, the first thing we can do to develop concentration is to make resolution. And then there are 11 supportive conditions according to the commentary. First of all, the first thing is the personal hygiene. So this fact already expounded in the previous Dhamma talk. So the personal hygiene is 2 parts: internal or inner part, or external things or internal things. So as internal things, we have to clean our bowel, something like this. If we have constipation, we have to have regularity, and blood circulation should be go very well. And then the nail or fingernail, toenail should be cut regularly. And master beards also should be shaved regularly. So our internal body should be clean. And then external things like clothing and our bed, room, and surrounding area and also should be clean. So this is called the personal hygiene. And then number two things we can do is to keep balance between mental faculties, controlling faculties, between faith and reasoning, and between effort and concentration. So mindfulness never excessive. The faith and reasoning or knowledge, sometimes faith is excessive, and sometimes reasoning and knowledge is too much, something like this. So the two should be balanced with the mindfulness. And sometimes viriya and effort is excessive, mind is overactive and over-enthusiastic. And it should be calmed down with the concentration. Sometimes concentration very strong, mind is tranquil, and maybe the laziness coming in. So the concentration also should be balanced with the effort, energy. So it is sati, mindfulness, that's very helpful to keep the balance of mental faculty. For mindfulness, it's never excessive, always required. So through the mindfulness, we try to keep the balance of mental faculty. So here mindfulness means we are noting physical actions, rising, falling, going, sitting, and so on. That is called kaya nupassana, the awareness or observation of body. And we observe the feeling or sensation, pain or pleasure. That's a vedana nupassana, awareness of feeling. And we observe the thoughts, wandering mind, daydreaming, and so on. That's the awareness of mind or awareness of consciousness we call citta nupassana. And general objects, whatever we do, whatever we hear, see, smell, taste, touch, should be noted. They are called dhamma nupassana. So this observation of mind is an important kind of the awareness or mindfulness sati. So mind in nature, jumping around and then thinking about anything wholesome or unwholesome. So here, in this regard, the yogi should understand the point. The mind is naturally think about sometimes wholesome or unwholesome. We should not be complaining about it. We have to observe it as it is. That's the way we develop awareness of mind. But many yogis, many of us think, if we have unwholesome thought, it's a very unwholesome thought. This kind of thought should not arise. If I entertain this kind of thought, definitely this thought will lead me to the hell. And woeful rebirth, something like this. They feel regret. And then they complain, something like this. Actually, in the case of vipassana, the mind, whether wholesome or unwholesome, is just object of vipassana. Just note it as it is. That's how we develop the awareness of mind. We call citta nupassana. So we have four objects, four kinds of objects: body, feeling, mind, and general objects or dhamma objects. So these four are objects. We should not say wholesome or unwholesome, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant. They are all equally important. We have to observe them as they really are. They definitely lead us to Nibbana. They are our best friends. They are not disturbances. They are not distraction. They are the nature of the mind and body. So by observing them, we can see mental and physical phenomena arising and passing away. Thus, we develop the awareness of insight into impermanence, suffering, and non-self. So that's an important understanding for every yogi. And so Saddha, faith, Panya, knowledge or reasoning power should be balanced through the mindfulness. And in the same way, the balance between concentration and effort should be maintained by continuous mindfulness. That's the second thing we can do to develop concentration. And the third thing we can do to develop concentration is skillfulness in samatha practices, or the conditions, or the understanding of the conditions for concentration. So mainly is referred to the samatha practices, but as a pure vipassana yogi, what we need to understand is the condition for concentration. So we need to learn. We need to be skillfully learn how we can develop concentration. What are conditions for concentration to be developed? Suppose, for example, when we practice, when we are working in so and so place, the mind is calm and peaceful, develop concentration. When we practice this time, this place, such time, such place, and our mind is calm, peaceful, and develop concentration. Something like this. We should learn skillfully applying the conditions to develop concentration. So that's that things we. So when the mind is overactive, over enthusiastic, we will become restless. So we need to keep it calm down. So for this purpose, we are recommended to develop the three phenomena, upekha, sambojjhanga, the equanimity, and samadhi, concentration, and passaddhi, calmness, tranquility. So to quiet the overactive mind, over enthusiastic mind, we have to develop the upekha, equanimity. How to develop? We should be balanced between pleasant and unpleasant. We should not enjoy the pleasant object. We should not be frustrated by unpleasant object. We should ignore pleasant or unpleasant. In this way, we can develop the upekha, equanimity. And then we may also note if the mind is overactive, over-enthusiastic, we can note it, overactive, or agitated. And then the mind may get calmed down. And then we should develop concentration. How to develop concentration? We should live in the present moment. We observe present phenomena, current phenomena. The mind should be focused on the whatever is in the present. Don't think about the past, and don't expect for the future. Try to live in the present. Try to be aware of the whatever in the present. Then we can develop. And then passaddhi, tranquility. We need to develop passaddhi. How to develop? And then we should relax our mind and body. If the mind is overactive, and we try to relax the mind and the body. In this way, we can keep our mind calm and peaceful without being overactive, over-enthusiastic. So on the other hand, whereas we have times when we feel depressed, and then we feel very frustrated and disappointed. We want to go back home. We want to leave the retreat. In such cases, we yogi are recommended to develop the 3 kinds of bojjhanga, viriya, effort, piti, the happiness, and dhamma vijaya, the investigation or the dhamma or the analytical knowledge or the mental and physical phenomena. So all the easier ways is to note the mental state as it is. For example, if we feel depressed or lonely, just note it as depressed, and so on. And in this way also we can overcome the depression, the loneliness or frustration, and go further for progress. And how to develop the effort, happiness, and investigation of the Dhamma, 3 enlightenment factors. First of all, to develop the effort or energy, we are recommended to think about the woeful states, woeful rebirth. So as a ordinary people, we are still liable to be reborn in the woeful states like the animal, so we should think about that. Before too late, we should practice meditation. If we are animal, we have no chance to practice. So thinking about the woeful rebirth, we should become active, enthusiastic. So, and then we should develop happiness. As mentioned in the previous Dhamma talk, to develop the piti, happiness or gratification, we can practice the recollection of the Buddha's quality and Dhamma qualities and Sangha qualities, our deed of generosity and our virtue and so on. And by developing piti, we can overcome the depression and the loneliness and so on. And also Dhamma Vijaya Sambojjhanga, the analytical knowledge of the mental and physical phenomena. So in this regards, we are recommended to think about the great opportunity in our hand. So we are still healthy enough to practice such an intensive retreat. We should not take it for granted. We should practice before too late. And it's also a great opportunity for us to meet the Buddha's teaching. And then we get chance to listen to the Buddha's teaching, and also it's a great chance is to practice such an intensive retreat like this. One day, we all are going to become too old to practice this kind of meditation. So before too late, we should make great effort. And then one day, we all encounter the terminal disease, the deadly disease. And then we have no time to practice. So before too late, we should put great effort in the practice. So before we die, death is an unavoidable destiny for all of us. One day we all going to die. So before we die, we should make great effort. So in this way, we arouse the energy. We make our mind active and energetic again. So when we feel depressed, frustrated, or discouraged, we should activate, vitalize our mind. It is like the plants. When the plants know water is withered, we need to water it. So in the same way, when the mind is gloomy and frustrated and depressed, we should gladden it. So how to make it glad? We may recollect the qualities of the triple gem, and here especially we are recommended to consider the 8 Samvega Vatu. Here Samvega Vatu means, Samvega means the sense of urgency, Vatu means conditions. So Samvega Vatu means 8 kinds of conditions for sense of urgency, to develop sense of urgency. So first of all, we have to think about, we have to contemplate or consider the suffering or the birth. So we used to be in our mother womb in the very narrow place. So this kind of suffering also something to think about, to arouse the sense of urgency. And when we were born, we are subject to old age, sickness and death. So we always worry about to look young, to be healthy and to live long, because we are always frightened by prospect of old age, sickness and death. So life is full of suffering. That's the second thing, second condition to develop the sense of urgency. And then the third condition for sense of urgency is to contemplate the woeful rebirth. So if we are not yet enlightened, at least as a first stage of enlightenment, we are still liable to be reborn in the woeful state. Woeful state, there are real suffering. So thinking about this liability or the woeful state, we should develop the sense of urgency. And also our previous lives, the same kinds of suffering and dukkha we encounter, this is also something to think about. And number 5 is to think about the future. If we are not enlightened, at least we can attain the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapatti. We are liable to encounter countless, unmeasurable amount of suffering throughout the lives to come. Contemplate this fact too. And then number 6, to contemplate for sense of urgency, is the suffering survive. We have to take a lot of pain and trouble to survive. Painful struggle for survival. We have to work hard for our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner, or to buy cars, to purchase house, or we have to work for years. So the painful struggle or stressful struggle for survival is also something for us to contemplate, to develop the sense of urgency. Now time is up, so Sayadaw will continue the rest tomorrow. In conclusion, as usual, Sayadaw said, all mental and physical phenomena belong to the preachers, teacher and yogis here. And everybody else on earth are subject to old age, sickness and death. So they are all suffering, true suffering, dukkha. And attachment to them is samudaya, the cause of suffering. The cessation of attachment is nirodha, nibbana. And the development of mindfulness is the right path leading us to the nibbana. May you all be able to practice Satipatthana meditation fully until you attain